Morning everyone. Today we shall discuss about industry in India. Economists have found that poor nations can progress only if they have a good industrial sector. Industry provides employment which is more stable than the employment in agriculture. It promotes modernization and overall prosperity. It is for this reason that the 5-year plan places a lot of emphasis on industrial development. You might have studied in the previous chapter that at the time of independence, the variety of industry was very limited. Now we discuss about role या importance of industry in economic development. The progress of any nation depends upon its strong industrial base. Hence, industry becomes very important to achieve the target of economic growth and development. There are following points explain the importance of industry in economic development. First point is a structural change. A structural transformation shift from primary sector to secondary and tertiary sector is very important for economic growth of the nation. In order to solve the problem of disused unemployment in agricultural sector, it was considered urgent and necessary to go for industrialization. The second point is expansion of employment opportunities. To generate employment opportunities, we had to expand our industrial base so that excess labor force could be absorbed. Industrial sector provides more stable employment opportunity than एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर. तो डियर स्टूडेंट, आपको जानना होगा कि जब इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट होता है तो रोज़गार के अवसर बढ़ जाते हैं, क्योंकि बहुत सारे जो एग्रीकल्चर लेबरर हैं वहाँ पर सरप्लस हैं. यदि उनको शिफ्ट कर करके एग्रीकल्चर इंडस्ट्री में लगा दिया जाए तो एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर पर कोई प्रभाव नहीं पड़ता है और लोगों को रोजगार मिलता है, जिससे इनकम बढ़ती है. थर्ड पॉइंट इज इंक्रीज इन ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ इकोनॉमी. देयर इज लो प्रोडक्टिविटी इन एग्रीकल्चरल सेक्टर because it's mainly depends on nature. Therefore, we need to grow economy at a higher rate by increasing the production of goods and services. Industry promotes modernization, growth, high national and per capita income. And fourth is growth of infrastructure. Industrial development directly relates to a strong infrastructure. Economic, roads, dam, banking, insurance, and social, health, housing, and education. When the growth of industrial sector, the basic infrastructure also develops, which further fastens the growth rate of industrial development. And next, urbanization. With a strong industrial base, the economy is able to produce more goods and services. Output increases and also the income levels. This further increase demand of goods and services. Self-reliance. At the time of independence, there were only two established iron and steel industries. First one is Jamshedpur and other in Kolkata. Industrial help in building a sound base for a self-reliant economy. Variety of industries such as iron and steel, electricity, communication, chemical industries, etc., help in achieving the objective of self-reliance. Now we shall discuss about role of public sector in industrial development. The big question facing the policymaker was what should be the role of the government and the private sector in industrial development. It was felt by the policymaker that the objective of industrial development could not be left to the free play of market forces, demand and supply, or to private sector. Role of state or government was considered important because of these following factors. First is lack of capital to undertake investment. Indian industrialists did not have the sufficient capital to undertake investment in industrial venture required for development of the economy. Second is lack of incentive for the private sector. The Indian market was not big enough to encourage industrialists to undertake major projects even if they had the capital to do so. There was low level for aggregate demand because of limited size of market. In the simple words, there was no inducement to investment because of लो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी, अर्थात कि लैक ऑफ प्राइवेट सेक्टर को कम प्रोत्साहन दिया गया। इंडियन मार्केट में पूंजी की कमी थी, इसलिए प्राइवेट सेक्टर कम आगे आए। एंड सोशल जस्टिस, द डिसीजन टू डेवलप द इंडियन इकोनॉमी ऑन socialist lines led to the policy of the state controlling the commanding heights of the economy. As the second five-year plan puts it, the objective of socialistic pattern of society could be achieved only through direct participation of the government in the process of industrialization. Conclusion: this means that the state would have complete control of those industries that were vital for the economy. The policies of the private sector would have to be complementary to those of the public sector. Now we shall discuss about Industrial Policy Resolution 1956, IPR 1956. In accordance with the goal of the state controlling the commanding heights of the economy, the Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956 was adopted. This resolution formed the basis of the second five-year plan, the plan which tried to build the basis for socialistic pattern of society. Elements of IPR 1956. First, threefold classification of industries. First, the first category comprised industry which would be exclusive owned by the state. This category included 17 industries like atomic energy, arms and ammunition, oil, railways, etc. अर्थात वो जिन पर सरकार का अधिकार होता है, सरकारी कंपनियां फर्स्ट कैटेगरी के अंदर आती हैं और जो बहुत ही आवश्यक होती हैं. द सेकेंड कैटेगरी कंसिस्ट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज which the private sector could supplement the efforts of the state sector, which the state taking sole responsibility. New units, it included 12 industry like fertilizers, machine, tools, एलुमिनियम एट्सेट्रा। ऐसी जहाँ पर ज्वाइंट प्राइवेट और गवर्नमेंट दोनों मिलकर करके जहाँ काम करती हैं उसको ज्वाइंट सेक्टर कहा जाता है। और थर्ड कैटेगरी है जहाँ पर प्राइवेट सेक्टर का अर्ज करता है। इट कंसिस्टेड ऑफ रिमेनिंग इंडस्ट्रीज which were to be in the private sector. These industries were under control of government through Industrial Development and Regulation Act 1951. Second point is industrial license. Although there was a category of industries left to the private sector, the sector was kept under state control through a system of license. No new industry was allowed unless a license was obtained from the government. This policy was used for promoting industrialization in backward region. It was easier to obtain a license if the industrial unit was established in an economical backward area to promote regional equality. And third is industrial concession. Though the government had major control over industries, private entrepreneurs were offered various industrial concessions. In addition, industrial units were given industrial concessions such as tax benefits and electricity at lower tariff to encourage establishing their units in the backward region of the country. It was done to promote regional equality. यानी रीजनल इक्वालिटी को प्रमोट करने के लिए सरकार द्वारा इंडस्ट्रियों को कंसेशन सुविधा उपलब्ध कराई जाती है, जिसमें कम रेट से बिजली की दर और साथ ही साथ टैक्स बेनिफिट दिया जाता है, जिससे बड़ी बड़ी इंडस्ट्री प्रोत्साहित होकर के बैकवर्ड एरियाज में अपनी यूनिट स्थापित करती हैं। इस प्रकार से जो रीजनल इक्वालिटी को प्रमोट किया जाता है। Now we shall discuss about a small scale industry. In 1955, the Village and a Small Scale Industry Committee, also called the Karve Committee, noted the possibility of using small scale industries for promoting rural development. So, characteristics of small scale industries. First is small scale industries are employment oriented. Small scale industries are more labor intensive. They use more labor than the large scale industries, and therefore they generate more employment. Small scale industries absorb surplus labor by generating employment opportunities. These industries are good for our economy, which is a capital efficient and a labor surplus economy. Next point, small scale industries are equality oriented. Large scale industries are often established close to the source of raw material. Small scale industries, on the other hand, show locational flexibility because they can be established anywhere without considering the source of raw material, etc. These are distributed over the entire length and breadth of the country. It is therefore equality oriented, leading to regional equality. A small scale industry देश में कहीं भी स्थापित की जाती है, जबकि बड़े बड़े इंडस्ट्रीज जो है रॉ मटेरियल के नज़दीक ही स्थापित करते हैं, जिससे कि उनकी लागत कम आए। और थर्ड पॉइंट इज स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज आर इक्विटी ओरिएंटेड. Small scale industries require a small investment compared to the large scale industry. Accordingly, it avoids concentration of economic power. Therefore, it promotes interpersonal equality. Small scale industries can utilize small funds more efficiently and generate revenues to their investors. स्मॉल इंडस्ट्रीज में कम कैपिटल लगा करके हम कार्य शुरू कर सकते हैं और लोगों को अधिक से अधिक रोजगार देंगे, जिससे लोगों को इनकम प्राप्त होगी. नाउ critical appraisal of industrial growth during the period 1950 to 1990. Main feature of strategy of industrial growth during the period 1950 1990 were as follows. Public sector was accorded high priority in the process of industrialization. Second point, private sector was given a secondary role in the process of industrialization under permit license Raj. Third, process of industrialization was based on policy of import substitution. It was the promote the objective of growth with self-reliance. Domestic industry was to be protected from foreign competition, though heavy duty on imports and fixation of import quotas. It was to promote growth of domestic industry. Large scale industry was to be developed to have a strong infrastructural base. A small scale industry was to be developed to achieve objective of employment, equality and equity. Now we shall discuss about the policy measures of industrialization had some positive effects. The first positive effect is there was about 6% annual growth rate of the industrial sector. Second, the industrial sector became well diversified by 1990. The promotion of small scale industries gave opportunities of investment to small investors. Protection from foreign competition enabled the development of indigenous industries in the areas of electronics and automobile sectors. Now we shall discuss about negative effects of industrialization policy. Public sector emerged as monopoly proved to be inefficient as it suffered huge losses due to lack of administrative efficiency and lack of funds. The protection of domestic industries though was desirable, but indigenous production could not match the international standards. The policymakers tried to save foreign exchange though import substitution. Now we shall discuss about trade policy or import substitution. The industrial policy that we adopted was closely related to the trade policy. In the first 7 plans, trade was characterized by what is commonly called in inward-looking trade a strategy. Technically, this strategy is called import substitution. This policy is aimed at replacing or substituting imports with domestic production. Now we shall discuss India's foreign trade at the time of independence. India's has been an important trading nation since ancient time. The restrictive policies of commodity production, trade and tariff pursued by the colonial government adversely affected the structure, composition and volume of India's foreign trade. Consequently, India became an exporter of primary products such as raw silk, wool, cotton, jute, indigo, etc. Second, the composition of export and imports of Indian economy made it backward and stagnant. Third, this led to the drain of Indian wealth. इंडियन वेल्थ मतलब कि डियर स्टूडेंट्स, भारत की जो संपत्ति है, प्रॉपर्टी है, वो उसको जो है दूसरे देशों में जा रही थी। ब्रिटेन का शासन था और भारतीय संपत्ति को बाहर ले जाया जा रहा था। इंडिया हैज़ बीन an important trading nations since ancient time. The restrictive policies of commodity production, trade and tariff pursued by the colonial government. Now we shall discuss about India's foreign trade after independence. After independence, India's foreign trade showed a drastic change. Volume of foreign trade rose to the nearly 29.6 lakh crore of rupees in 2011 compared to mere 6,000 crore in 1956. Second, there was a decline in percentage of share of agriculture export. It was because India started using its farm product as raw material. There was increased demand of domestically produced goods. There was decline in percentage share of export of conventional item like jute, टी, मिनरल एट्सेट्रा। इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद भारत के जो पहले कन्वेंशनल आइटम थे जिनका हम एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे थे, अब उनमें कमी आई। देयर वाज इंक्रीज इन परसेंटेज शेयर ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ मशीन मेड गुड्स। इट वाज टू प्रूव दैट डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम्स इनिशिएटेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट वर इन राइट डायरेक्शन। और इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद अब मशीन मेड वस्तुओं का भी निर्यात हम अपने देश से होने लगा। इससे स्पष्ट होता है, इट इज़ क्लियर दैट द डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम्स इनिशिएटेड बाय गवर्नमेंट वर इन राइट डायरेक्शन। Now, direction of foreign trade underwent a significant change. There was rise in number of countries we are dealing with. It was observed that there was a change in direction of exports. The bulk of India's exports were with England, America and Commonwealth countries before 1951. But at present, we deal with almost all the countries like Australia, America, New Zealand, Japan, countries of European Union, etc. There was a substantial change in import trade too. At the time of independence, we used to import from UK and America. Now the import from Russia, Japan, countries of European Union, Australia, New Zealand, etc. Now let us recapitulate. Prime Minister का इसका राइट मैचिंग होगा चेयरपर्सन ऑफ द प्लानिंग कमीशन। दूसरा, HYV सीट्स, HYV सीट्स इसका होगा राइट आंसर, seeds that give large of output. कोटा, कोटा का होगा quantity of goods that can imported, and subsidy, subsidy का होगा the monetary assistance by government, by government activities. Now we shall discuss about inward looking trade strategy. Meaning of inward looking trade strategy: it refers to the policy of having reliance on import substitution and protection of domestic industries through import restrictions and import duties. This strategy was adopted to shape foreign exchange and achieve self reliance. The government protected the domestic industries. Now will appraisal of inward looking trade strategy. The sum India adopted this policy to protect its domestic industries from foreign competition. It had positive as well as negative impact on Indian economy. Let us study them. First, positive impact. Rise in industries' share of GDP. The proportion of GDP contributed by the industrial sector increased in the period from 11.8% in 1950-51 to 24.6% in 1991. The rise in industry share of GDP is an important indicator of development. Next, diversification of industrial sector. The industrial sector became well diversified by 1990, largely due to public sector. We were not confined to production of basic goods like cotton, jute, etc. Rather, variety of goods were being produced: engineering goods, electronic goods, automobiles, etc. All this could be possible only because of policy of protection. Third is investment opportunities. The promotion of small scale industries gave opportunities to those people who did not have the capital to start large firms to get into business. This encouraged small investors to invest and earn returns on their investment. Now we shall discuss about critical appraisal of economic planning till 1991. Feature of economic policy under planning till 1991. Features of economic planning till 1991 are as under. Dependence on public sector. Prior to 1991, there was heavy reliance on the public sector. It was assumed that only government can be instrumental in realizing the objective of social justice and equity. In industrial policy 1956, there were 17 industries reserved for public sector as against 12 industries for private sector. Next, control development of private sector. The state or government held complete control over the private sector through a system of license. No new industry was allowed unless a license was obtained from the government. A license was required even for expansion of the production or for diversifying production. Next, inward looking trade strategy. This was another important feature of economic policy prior to 1991. It implied placing reliance on import substitution and protecting domestic industries from foreign competition. Next, protection to small scale industries. The production of a number of products was reserved for the small scale industries. They were also given concessions such as lower excise duty and bank loans at lower interest rates. These industries cannot be compete with the big industries firms. It is obvious that development of small scale industries should be protected. Diversification of industries. Our industries became far more diversified compared to the situation at independence. Industrial sector was not confined only to jute, tea, cotton, etc. We now start producing consumer goods, electronic goods, engineering goods, etc. Automobile industries also started growing. And last, self sufficiency in food grains. Due to technical reforms like Green Revolution, India became self sufficient on one hand and also was able to create marketable surplus which made our agriculture commercial in nature. Now, achievement of economic planning till 1991. Achievement of economic planning till 1991 can be discussed. First is increase in national product or national income. At the time of independence, India was a stagnant economy. During the British rule, national income of India was increasing at the rate of less than 1% per annum. National income increased from 2.1% in 1956 to 5.9% in 1990. Second, increase in per capita income. It refers to per capita ability of national income. Increase in per capita income is a good indicator to assess economic growth. It increased from 1.8% in 1956 to nearly 3.6% in 1990. It implies a rise in standard of living of people. Third is generation of employment. Due to innovation, new policies, agriculture reforms, and diversification of industries, the country was able to increase employment opportunities. In the year 1990, employment was provided to nearly 350 lakh persons as against 70 lakh persons in the year 1956. And diversification of industrial sector. During the period, our industrial base became strong. Industrial sector started growing and became diversified. We were producing all kinds of consumer and capital goods in India. During this period, growth rate of industrial production has been around 7% per annum. And social infrastructure. It refers to those facilities which help the production process indirectly like health, housing, education, etc. Death rate came down from 27 per thousand in 1951 to nearly 8 per thousand in 90. Life expectancy increased from 32 years in 1951 to 64 years in 1990. And rise in capital formation. Capital formation is very essential to increase the level of investment and income in the economy. The country was able to channelize saving in the right direction. The rate of capital formation increased from 10% in 1956 to 39% in 1990. Now we shall discuss about failures of planning till 1991. Following observation highlights failures of economic plan till 1991. First, increase in poverty. The number of people who fail to get the basic necessities of life is increasing considerably. The policies adopted by the government till 1990 were very rigid and were not able to generate more employment opportunities and more income. Dear student, हमारी जो प्लानिंग 1991 की इंडस्ट्री की थी वह बहुत एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट नहीं कर पाई. Consistent rise in price. Despite of some progress shown by the policies undertaken by the government till 1991, it was observed that government could not control persistent rise in price. And third is problem of unemployment. Though the initiative taken by the government did generate more employment opportunities, unemployment did not subside. The major cause of this problem was higher growth rate of population. The number of unemployed increased from 54 lakh person 1956 to 85 lakh person in the year 1990s. And last, inefficient public monopolies and concentration of power with public sector. और इनएफिशिएंट पब्लिक मोनोपोलीज जो पब्लिक सेक्टर के इंडस्ट्रीज थे उनकी मोनोपोली बढ़ रही थी, अकुशलता बढ़ रही थी. So these are the failure reason. Now some multiple choice question. Import substitution refers to a policy of substitution of imports by filling blanks production, domestic, state, foreign, or district. The right answer is domestic production. Quota refers quality of goods, quantity, tax on imported goods. These none of these. The right answer is quantity of goods. Now important question for students. First question is, what are the elements of IPR 1956? Second question, what were the major drawback in the industrial sector? Third question is, what are the objective of licensing? Fourth question, in which state were land reforms successful? And last question 5, what role does the industrial sector play in the Indian economy? Thank you.